guys! So I thought that it would be fun to do a comparison between the Me and My Big Ideas Happy Planner and the Dokibook Discagenda Diva, because these are the two disc-bound planners that are the most similar to each other, and I think also the ones that are the most easily accessible. So the first difference that you can see is a striking one: the covers. Obviously, the Discagenda Diva has got a binder style cover, so it looks like a ring bound planner, whereas the Happy Planner has a laminated cover that's along the same lines as like the Erin Condren or Lime Life, or you know, that type of what you more see in the spiral bound planners. And for me, that is actually like kind of one of the major things that distinguishes them, I think. I really like this cover. I like the look of a disc-bound planner, but I'm not such a fan of the discs, as I've talked about in other videos. I can't really use them for planning. So I really like the fact that this looks like a disc-bound planner, whereas I've also mentioned this in other videos, I've never been a fan of laminated covers. So straight off the bat, I think that this is something that really sets them apart from each other. The Discagenda Diva you can get either in this elastic strap version or in a snap closure version. The Happy Planner, as far as I've been able to tell, there are a lot of cover options available on Etsy, but they are all laminated as well, so like just different designs. So I was looking for a long time after I got the Happy Planner to see if I could find a replacement cover for this that was made out of some kind of hardback sort of material, kind of like the Inkwell press cover, and I haven't been able to find anything. I don't know if anything has been made since I last checked. So that's a big difference between them. In terms of size, if you compare the two, you can see that they are pretty much the same size with the cover. So the laminated cover here, it looks like the Happy Planner is a bit smaller, but actually if you see this cover comes right up to the edge of the Diva. So they're pretty much the same size, and that is a bit bigger than A5 size. So if we compare this to an A5 ring bound planner, this is a Jamie Notes A5 ring bound planner, you can see that it's a little bit bigger. Well, they're both a little bit bigger than this A5 planner. However, the size actually starts to become quite different between the two of these once you take the cover off, and I'll show you that in a minute. First, we'll look at the inside here. So because this is a ring bound style cover, when you open it, you can see obviously there aren't rings in it. Instead, you've got the discs. So that's kind of another major difference, which is that with the Happy Planner, you have the discs on the outside. So if you're looking at it like this from the spine, you can see the discs, which I think is a nice look. I like being able to see the discs, and that's something that you don't get with the Diva, because obviously if you look at it from the side, you are looking at a binder. You can't see the discs. So I think that's just personal preference. I like them both. Obviously I like the look of a binder, so it doesn't bother me, but occasionally I kind of miss being able to see the discs as you can with the Happy Planner, because I think that's a very distinctive look. You see it a lot on Instagram and on YouTube. Whenever anyone has a Happy Planner, it's just this very distinctive look with the discs showing. But once you get onto the inside, you get some more differences, because obviously this cover is designed like a ring bound planner, and so you've got pockets. And I think that this is one of the many amazing features about the Diva, is that you get all of these awesome pockets, and this is a very similar setup to the Dokibook ring bound planners. So for example, this is the Royal Purple A5 Dokibook ring bound planner, and you can see, well, it's kind of hard to see because of the light, but you can see that it's got quite a similar pocket arrangement. The Diva actually has more pockets than the ring bound planner, but it's a kind of similar style to, you know, Kiki K, a lot of Filofaxes, that sort of setup. And it's particularly great because you get 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you get this little snap compartment, which I think is really cool and I've never seen on another planner. So you get that, and then on the other side you get this pocket, which goes for the whole length, and then you also get this pocket. So I think that that's really fantastic because it sets you up if you like using stickers and washi samples and being able to, you know, put papers and things in, or even like, you know, coins, bookmarks. You could put all kinds of stuff in this snap pocket. You're totally set up. This is the way it comes. You don't have to get any of this extra. This is just when you order it, it ships like this. And so I really, really like having all of these pockets because who doesn't love pockets? Whereas with the Happy Planner, this is how it comes. So obviously it's a laminated cover. It doesn't have any pockets. This pen loop, by the way, I added. I'll talk about that in a minute. So it wouldn't come with the pen loop. So you don't get anything like this. You don't get any sort of, no pockets of any kind. You can add pockets as an extra. The MAMBI shop has a lot of great accessories, and they have got, I think, a pack of like different pockets that you can add in. So like kind of cardboard or like, you know, plastic sort of pockets. So you can accessorize this, and this is one of the great things about the discbound system, obviously, is that you can add things into it really easily as long as you have a punch. So, or even if without a punch, you can do it just with a normal, like one hole punch and scissors, but with a discbound punch, it's easier. So you can add pockets into this, but it doesn't come with them. So that's another difference. Now, once we go beyond this, I'll just point out one more thing about the cover, and then we can move on to the insides. So as I mentioned, this doesn't come with a pen loop. This is a Leuchtturm pen loop that I added on. It's just like an adhesive pen loop, whereas this one, obviously with the binder, it comes with this pen loop, and this is a really good pen loop. I talked about this in my review, my initial walkthrough of this planner. This is a fantastic pen loop. It's elastic and it's really, really stretchy. So unlike a lot of pen loops, even elastic ones from other brands, Dokibook pen loops are great, and you can fit really chunky pens into them. So this is a Pilot Metropolitan, and that fits in without any problems, but you can get even thicker pens into it. So I love that. And that is something else that I really like about this. I just like this whole cover. I think it's very beautiful and functional, and it's got everything that you'd want from pockets to pen loops. So that's the cover. So that's another area where, like, I personally really like this because it's not something that you get with the Happy Planner, and I think that it just gives it a completely different feel. So by the way, in this, I'm kind of trying to be relatively objective, but I have my likes and dislikes, so I'm going to mention them occasionally. So I hope that nobody minds, but I'm trying to give a kind of, you know, relatively just kind of straightforward comparison between the two of them. So that said, let's take this out of the cover so that we can kind of get a clearer view of what the two planners actually look like side by side. So once you take this cover off, you've seen that these are the same size, but if we put the cover to one side, you'll see that the Diva is actually quite a bit smaller than the Happy Planner. So this is more of a fair comparison, I guess, without the Diva cover, because you could actually use this as a planner on its own. It's perfectly self-sufficient. So it's really nice having it inside this because of the pockets and the pen loop, as I mentioned. But if you felt like this was too bulky, or you don't like the binder look and you just wanted this, then you can totally do that. It's fine, it's sturdy, it will stand up, and I think it looks really good like this as well. So in some ways, this is kind of like a truer comparison between the two of them, I guess. And, you know, you can just think of this as an extra that comes with the Diva. So yeah, the size. So the Diva is an A5 size, whereas the Happy Planner is bigger than A5. That's the first difference. So even if, I mean, if you can see here the difference in size, and for this reason, the Happy Planner will not fit inside this cover. So if you like the look of the binder, but you like the Happy Planner inserts and you wanted to be able to fit them in, this is what would happen. You can't fit it in. So you'd either have to cut this down, or if you try, let's say you just took off the cover, if for some reason, like, you were just, say you could like cut out like a cardboard sort of using this as a template, cut out a piece of cardboard and punch it, and then it just fits. So you could just get this in, and this is what it would look like. So I think that it does just fit, and I have seen, I think it was a picture on Instagram of someone who said that she had fit her Happy Planner into the Diva cover. So I think that it might just be possible without the Happy Planner covers, if that makes sense. I think that this paper might just fit in. So if you, does that make sense? If you made a cardboard cutout and stuck that into it, because the paper on its own I think is too flimsy to sort of withstand, but it's like, it will, let me try it with a divider. Let's see. I think you, like, even, yeah, it does just go in. So that's kind of interesting. If you wanted to use this cover and put your Happy Planner inside it, I think that you probably could manage to do it. It's a very, very tight fit, but you see how that works? So I will not butcher this poor Happy Planner anymore, but I think that you could just do it. So that's useful to know about, because I, like, personally really like the insides of the Happy Planner, but I don't like the laminated covers. So that seems to be an option. Okay, so back to the two of these. The size is quite different. So I was using the Happy Planner for a couple of months before this came, and I quite liked the big pages because it's a bit bigger than A5. You do have some more space to work with, and that's quite nice. Having said that, obviously A5 is a really standard size, so this doesn't feel too small to me. It is smaller if you're used to the Happy Planner, but if you just think of this as a normal A5 planner, then you won't have any problems with it being too small. So I think the issue is just like, kind of don't expect it to be the same size as the Happy Planner because it's smaller. So the next difference is the covers. So like I said, this can be used on its own, and the reason is that it has this really sturdy plastic flyleaf, and then it has this plastic cover underneath. So this is plastic, this is actually 2 sheets, and then underneath you have this gold foil. You could replace this gold foil with something else so that you get a different pattern, and I've seen some pictures on Instagram where people have done that and it's really nice. But if you leave it like this, and it just so happens that the Happy Planner that I have has a gold heart, so they look quite similar, except this is like black and gold and this is white and gold. I like this better, again, because it's not laminated, and this is just a personal thing for me. I don't know why, I just have never liked this kind of laminated cover. So this somehow seems different because it's like this thick sheet, and then you've got another sturdy plastic sheet that really feels more covery to me. I think it's because laminating to me kind of seems like a homemade thing. It's the sort of thing that, you know, I can do by myself, whereas this is not something that I would be able to make myself, I guess, if that makes any sense, but it's totally a personal preference. So the covers look and feel quite different. And then the next big difference is the rings, or the discs. So first of all, the Diva discs are metal, they're aluminum, and they're rose gold, and they have a circle in the middle. If you can, it's like a circle cut out. So I really like that. I just like the design, and I like the fact that they're metal as opposed to plastic, and I also like the rose gold. Whereas the Happy Planner has got plastic discs, and they have a heart in the middle. So I like the circle better than the heart, but that's just personal preference again, because I'm not like really that into hearts, which is funny because these are both covered in hearts. But the main thing about it, I think, is that these are aluminium, so they will last, and also, you know, they're recyclable, they're better for the environment, so I really like that. You can see in terms of numbers of discs that the Happy Planner's got one more disc. It has 9 discs, whereas this one has 8 discs. So just another kind of illustration of the difference in size between the two of them. The other thing about them is that the size of the discs is different, and I was really surprised about this because I assumed by looking at these that the Happy Planner discs were bigger. They look bigger to me. So when I went to check the measurements, I was totally sure that they would come back as this being bigger. But I was really, really shocked because apparently the Happy Planner discs are 1.25 inches, which is 31.75 millimeters, whereas the Diva discs are 33 millimeters, which is 1.3 inches. So apparently these are actually bigger. I haven't taken them out to compare them physically just because it's a big hassle, but that's what they claim on their respective websites. So supposedly these are just a little bit bigger than these, which really, really surprised me. By the way, if you like these discs but you prefer the Happy Planner overall, Dokibook sells the discs individually, and you can get them in a pack of 8 or in a pack of 12. So if you got the pack of 12, that would be enough to put them in the Happy Planner. And because they're actually bigger than these, they would be completely fine in that you'd have enough room for your 18 months. So that was a big surprise to me. I still kind of feel like it can't really be true, but I've checked it and rechecked it, and that's what they say on the websites. So that's the discs. Then when we move onto the inside, obviously there are differences between the Happy Planners themselves, because last year you had 5 different ones, and this is one of those 5. And then this year, the new line that is just coming out tomorrow is going to have 10 different ones, and they really look very different to each other on the inside. So when I'm comparing these, you know, obviously just keep in mind that it's not a perfect comparison, because it's not like there's just one Happy Planner. They look really different to each other depending on the one that you get. So I'll try to just kind of keep it general so that I don't go into too much specific information about Happy Planner designs, because they're so different. Like there are ones that are like watercolor, and then there are ones that are like kind of very bright colors, and there are ones that are much more muted, and ones that have like kind of photorealism style, well, like realistic photos of landscapes and flowers and things like that. So very, very different. And that's actually, I think, one of the really nice things about the Happy Planner is that there's so much variety, particularly this year. Last year already I was impressed, because I think in terms of the insides, they have more variety than any other type of planner that I know of. And this year they really just knocked it up a notch, and they've got 10 different ones, which is unbelievable. So I think that that's an awesome thing about the Happy Planner, is that there really is something for pretty much everyone. And with the Dokibook, with the Diva, there's only one design. I happen to really like the design, so it's not an issue, but I think if you're looking for choice, then the Happy Planner is definitely the one to go for, because I think, you know, no matter what type of design appeals to you, you'll probably find one that you like. So if we start off, first of all, again, the great thing about these is that you can punch things and put them in. And the really nice thing about the Diva is that it comes with a punch. It's just a single punch, so it's kind of laborious, but I punched this using it, so it works. And that's really nice, because that means that you don't need to buy a more expensive punch. MAMBI has just come out with a punch, which is $30 in the US. I don't know when it's going to be available in the UK, and that looks very appealing, because it would be much easier just to, that's not a single hole punch, that's like a whole thing, so you could punch a whole sheet at once. Anyway, but that comes extra, and the single punch comes with the Diva. So when you open it, obviously with both of them you can fold them back on themselves, which is really nice, and that's something that you can't do with the Diva when it's in the binder cover, but if you take it out then you can. So the styles are very different. The Diva starts with this personal information page. This one has this like kind of hello, this belongs to page. And then the Happy Planner, and I think all of the designs of the Happy Planner are very big on these sort of inspirational quotes like this. The Diva doesn't have anything like that. It has got a yearly calendar, which the new versions of the Happy Planners are going to have. And again, they have lots of different designs. So there's some, like, you know, really nice ones. This it's quite plain, I think, in comparison to the videos that I've seen of the new Happy Planner yearly calendars. It's like the year at a glance calendars. This one is sort of quite basic in terms of the design, but it's still, you know, nice. It keeps the same colors as the rest of the inserts in this. And so in terms of inserts, because this is, you know, there's just one design, it's all like white and gold, which I really like. Whereas the Happy Planner obviously has all of these different designs with different colors. So both of them have dividers. The paper of the dividers is different. So the Happy Planner dividers, and I don't know if this is staying the same for next year. I think they've added some gold foil, but I'm not sure if the paper itself is the same. But this year, the 2015 to 16 version, it's like a cardstock, which to me feels like a heavier version of the paper. So it's just paper, but thicker, and it has laminated tabs. Whereas the Diva is like a much thicker and kind of a bit glossy. It sort of feels like, it doesn't just feel like thick paper, it feels like a very sort of thick cardstock, and this is gold foil. So a very different feel to the dividers. These ones feel much sturdier to me. The only difference, I guess, is that these have laminated tabs, whereas these don't. So like the whole thing is sort of thicker and sturdier, but these have laminated tabs, which are kind of probably going to be even thicker, even sturdier, if that makes sense. In terms of paper, they feel like they're a similar thickness to me. I don't know what the GSM of the Happy Planner is. The Diva is 120 GSM. So that's quite thick. The only one that I know of that's thicker is Inkwell Press, which is 140 GSM. But 120 GSM is like quite a good thickness. And this one, it feels like it must be, I'd say, the same. Not thinner, possibly slightly thicker, if anything, but I think it seems like it's about the same. And in terms of the texture as well, they're both a kind of very, I don't know if matte is the right word, but not at all glossy, not like really smooth, just kind of yeah, like a kind of like it's just sort of a level down from cardstock, but that sort of feel, if that makes any sense. In terms of how they take pens, I'll just show you here with fountain pens. So I've just recently got into fountain pens. As you may know, if you've been following me on Instagram, you've seen all of the fountain pen purchases. So this is the Pilot Metropolitan, and this is the fine nib. So you can see here on the Happy Planner that if we go on the other side, I don't even know if you can even see that. There's just like the tiniest bit of shadowing. There's sort of a bit of shadowing, but no bleed through. And I'll show you on here. So again, not sure if you can see that. It's quite similar. There's like definitely shadowing. You can see through on the other side, but there's no bleed through. So I'm happy with that. If you use something like a friction pen or like a gel pen or a ballpoint pen, I don't think there would even be any shadowing. It's just that when I started using this was about the time when I got the fountain pen and decided just to use fountain pen on this. It's fine nib, so if you had a medium or a broad nib, you might get more, but I think that the level that it is, it's okay. So yeah, I think like good paper quality on both of these. Then I won't talk too much about the design, as I said, because it's for the Happy Planner, you know, it's not fair because there are so many different ones. But just in terms of the overall layout, something that's interesting is that they both have this like kind of monthly dashboard. So you get like at the beginning of the month, you get this page that has like goals, birthdays, special events, important days, don't forget. And the Diva is almost the same in terms of the content. So you get special occasions, goals, remember, and birthdays. And then for both of them, you get these 3 months, the current month in the middle, and then the preceding month and the following month. So in terms of like kind of layout and, you know, sort of what you get, it's very, very similar because there aren't many other planners that have a page like this. And you get one of these for the beginning of every month. The Diva is obviously just kind of neutral in its sort of national orientation. It doesn't have anything, you know, it doesn't put anything under special occasions, whereas the Happy Planner is American, so it lists things like Columbus Day, Halloween, you know, like Labor Day, Christmas Day, that sort of thing. So I prefer this because I don't live in the US, so I like this one because it's neutral. But I could see that if you do live in the US, that it would be convenient having these holidays listed. So if we go on, you get a monthly view in both of them. And I'm just going to bring these back here. So I guess another difference is that for the Happy Planner, the divider comes before that dashboard, after the dashboard, whereas in the Happy Planner, the divider comes before it. So here you get your tab, and this has a cool system where you have top tabs for the first 5 months, and then you have side tabs for the rest of them. So like kind of the tabs go around, which I've never seen in anything else, and I love it. So here you get your January tab, and then you get the goals page, and then you go into the month on 2 pages. Whereas with the Happy Planner, you have your goals page, then you get the divider, and then the month on 2 pages is on the back of that. So this is a difference which I think might be important in some ways, is that in the Happy Planner, the first part of the month on 2 pages is printed on the back of the divider, which has always seemed a little bit weird to me. I mean, I can see that, you know, they didn't want to waste the space, but the divider, it just seems like somehow you'd want the divider to be like a separate thing. So I think it would almost make more sense to have the goals page on the back of the divider, but it's not a big issue. It's just, I like the way that they've done it in here, where you have the divider, which is just independent and can be reused year after year. Then you have your goals, and then you have the month on 2 pages on the back of that. In terms of the month on 2 pages, they're pretty similar. Sorry, I can't get both of them in frame, but I think it's enough to be able to show you what I want to show you, which is that they both have a Sunday start, which is interesting because I've only ever seen a Sunday start on American planners. So this is the first like kind of planner from outside North America that I've seen that does that. So Sunday start, and you have the weekends colored in. Here in the Diva, the weekends are colored in different colors. So Sunday is pink and Saturday is green. Whereas in the Happy Planner, I think that this is true of all of the designs, at least all the ones that I've seen. They're both colored the same color, and it matches the monthly spread, like the title. So the only other difference is that in the Diva, you have this notes column on the right, whereas in the Happy Planner, you have a notes column on the left. And again, the Happy Planner labels things like Columbus Day and Halloween, whereas the Diva doesn't. But other than that, it's a very similar layout, except obviously that the size is different. So that's the monthly spread. Then for the weekly spread, you get almost the same thing again. So they both have a Monday start, and they highlight the color in the weekends. For the Diva, it's Saturday's green, Sunday is pink. And for the Happy Planner, I think that the ones where the weekend is highlighted, both days are highlighted in the same color. And then you get this like kind of reverse image. So again, with the Diva, you get the notes on the right and the little monthly calendar. In the Happy Planner, it's on the left. But other than that, it's a very, very similar layout. So the one difference is they're both organized in this vertical format, and they have 3 boxes. The Happy Planner in the 2015-16 version labeled them morning, afternoon, and evening. I think in some of the versions they only put that like on here, and then the rest of them are blank. In the 16-17 versions, they're all blank. So they kept the headers, but they've taken out the words, like what they did with Erin Condren. Whereas in the Diva, they just have icons. So you have this little sunrise, and then you have like a blazing sun, and then you have a moon, which I think is really nice. I like that. It's cute. But other than that, very similar layout. Obviously, because the Happy Planner is bigger and it has some space at the bottom, they've got these little decorative touches. So they have like washi, you can kind of like faux washi, and then sometimes they have a quote. But quite similar. And then they go on like that. The only major difference is that the Happy Planner has different colors depending on the month. So you get, you know, every month has a different color, and so the weeks will also be, they will also be different. Whereas in the Diva, the monthly spreads and the weekly spreads are the same throughout the whole year. So this is your color scheme. You get different dividers. The dividers are always white and gold, but you'll have different designs on them. But the rest of it is the same. So it kind of depends on what you want. I think if you just want to have like a, you know, sort of dependable color scheme that you know what it is, and it will be the same throughout the whole year, the Diva is for you. Whereas if you like having different colors every month, which I really like, I think it's nice that every month you get a change, and you know, you kind of have something to look forward to every month. It's going to be different. Then definitely the Happy Planner, because I think that's something that all of the different Happy Planner designs have in common, or most of them. Maybe this year with the new ones, there's some that keep the same palette throughout. I think there might be one or two that do that, but generally they kind of always switch it up. And when you get to the end, there's another difference. So the Happy Planner is kind of famous, I think, for just ending. So you get the last day, and then you just get a notes page, and that's it. Whereas with the Diva, you get some samples of other types of pages. So first of all, you get contact pages, and you get quite a few of those. Then you get some recipe pages. So it like has this whole sheet for recipes, for ingredients and photos and hints and nutritional value and stuff. And then you get a page of instructions for how to make the recipe. So you get a few of those. And then you get some notes pages that are lined, quite a few of those as well. And then you get some to-do lists with heart checklists. So I think that this is a really nice extra touch that you get, because these are all the sorts of sheets that a lot of planner people like. So it's nice to have them in your planner. With the Happy Planner, again, you can get all of these things as extras. So they have a whole supplementary recipe book, and they have like a home package which has cleaning sheets and recipe lists and stuff like that in it. I don't have any of those, so I've seen them, you know, on videos and listed on Amazon and stuff like that, but I'm not sure exactly what's in them. But you can get supplementary pages, and obviously with both of these, because they're discbound, you can punch whatever paper you want and put them in, which is one of the really nice things about it. Another difference that I wanted to mention between the two of them, which I think is quite important, maybe I think that this is the sort of thing that would matter to a lot of people. So when you get to the end of a month, so like for example, this is the end of March. So the end of March, the 31st of March is a Thursday. Okay, so this like kind of keeps, it has the rest of the week, but it's sort of grayed out. And then if you go to April, you'll get that same week reduplicated, but instead the March days are grayed out. So you have your choice of 2 weeks. Basically, like if you want to use this spread, then you'd use it and then you would leave this one blank. Or the other way around, if you'd rather sort of finish off your March in April, you can do that. Or if you just want to like kind of plan up to here, then leave these blank and then move on to here, you can do that. And that's what I do. So like you have the same thing in February. So February this is the last day of February today, Monday. So I'm using this day, and then I'm going to switch over to March and use the rest of the week under the March tab, and you can see how Monday the 29th of February is there, but it's kind of like shaded out, if that makes sense. So that's the way they do it in the Diva. Whereas in the Happy Planner, they do it I think the same way as Erin Condren. So let's see. Let's go to the end of February. So February, we have this week of February up until the 28th. Then you turn the page and you're like, where's my 29th? In the Diva, it's there. It's just right on the next. It's on the next page over. But sorry, that's the wrong one. But you know what I mean. This is the 28th. Then that's the 29th. So in this one, you don't have that. You have to go to your March tab, go behind your March tab, and then you get the 29th. So they haven't duplicated it. They've just they've put the extra days. If there's a week that finishes, I guess it's like if it sort of finishes early in the week, then they put the whole week under the next month's tab. That drives me crazy. I find it really confusing. But again, it's just a personal preference. It's whatever you're used to. Some people would prefer it like this, I think. And it's not that big of a deal. I just thought it's worth mentioning because it's the sort of thing that I would like to know. So that's it for the kind of the layout and the contents. They're quite similar in terms of sort of their overall layout and what you get. Another big difference, which for me is really important, is that the Diva is all completely reusable. So you can keep the discs, you can keep this kind of flyleaf and the cover and all of the dividers, because they don't have anything on the back of them. They're not tied to a specific year. And then you can just replace the inserts. And they sell the inserts on the Dokibook website, and they're quite cheap. I think they're like $13 or something. So right now, obviously, it's the 2016 inserts, but presumably every year you'd just be able to buy the inserts. So if you've already bought the binder and all of these, then you don't need to buy them again the next year. You just need to buy the inserts, so it becomes cheaper. And with that, I should mention the price of the Diva, which is, at the moment, it's at an introductory price of $59 or $59.50 with free shipping, and it's supposed to go up to $69. I don't know if it will still have free shipping or not. Whereas the Happy Planner, now the new ones are something like $29.95, so like just under $30. So obviously the Diva is more expensive. I personally think it's worth it because I just think you get so much really nice quality. And obviously I'm not you know, endorsing officially being sponsored or anything like that. I just really like this. And I think that, you know, that sort of the value that you get with this binder, which you can also just take off and use for something else if you like the look of this on its own. I think that like this is a really great quality binder, and then you get the discs and all of this, which is reusable. So your sort of initial investment is more, but then over time it will become quite cheap because the next year you can just buy the inserts. Whereas with the Happy Planner, it's like it's cheaper initially, but then you have to add things on if you want things like pockets and pen loops and stuff like that, or else you don't have those things. And the other thing about it that kind of bugs me is that because these are plastic, and like I'm trying to cut down on plastic, I thought that it would be nice, and this is also plastic, I thought that it would be nice if they would just sell you the insert, so that if you've already got the 2015-16 planner, you could just buy the inserts and use these same discs so that you wouldn't have to throw away the discs, or I guess you could archive this, but it's still just a lot of like kind of extra plastic that's being created. And I asked them if that would be a possibility, and they were really nice, and they emailed back and they said it's not a possibility at the moment, but they liked the idea of it. Or so the like customer services person said that she would kind of like pass it on to the design team. So I don't know whether or not that's ever going to become a possibility. But I just think it's a shame that every year you have to like kind of buy the whole thing, including all of the discs and the covers. Whereas with this one, once you buy it once, you can use it forever, and you can just buy the inserts, if that makes sense. So that's something that really appeals to me about the Diva. And I think aside from that, it's really just an issue of whether or not you like the size of the bigger paper for the Happy Planner, and whether or not you like the color schemes, because if you don't like the design of the Diva, then you're kind of stuck because it's that way for the whole year. Although obviously, again, because it's discbound, you could get any A5 planner, let's say like Lime Life, you could get it unpunched and then punch it and put it in here and use it, and that would be really cool as well. Whereas with the Happy Planner, you can't do that because this is not a standard size, it's bigger than A5. But the Happy Planner has so many great designs that wouldn't really be an issue, because if you didn't like it, you probably wouldn't be interested in buying it in the first place. So I think that those were all of the main sort of pros and cons of both as I see them, and the differences and similarities between them. So I hope that you enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions about either of them. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back again soon with another video. Bye!